G'day everyone! XDefiant has recently wrapped up their open session event where I got to play the game for a few days and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much that I want to give some of my thoughts and impressions of the game from my experience playing it. You might have seen the thumbnail for this video where it asks, is this game better than Call of Duty? How can this game be better than Call of Duty? You may agree or disagree with my sentiment, but it's my opinion that XDefiant is better than the current Call of Duty game. XDefiant plays similar to the old Call of Duty from many years ago. It has the classic arena shooter feel with fast-paced action that I've missed playing all these years. Is it a Call of Duty killer that so many claim it to be? Sorry, I don't think it is, due to the fact that the Call of Duty we now have is drastically different than the Call of Duty we had some 20 years ago. It is now known for its Battle Royale mode, Warzone, while its traditional 6v6 multiplayer mode, the one that helped the franchise become the success it is now, seems to be less of a focus by Activision. So as it stands, both games are different from each other and I think they can coexist in the first-person shooter market today. If you don't know, XDefiant is an upcoming free-to-play multiplayer arena shooter created by Ubisoft. It has factions with different abilities, a large number of weapons and attachments, along with different maps and game modes. Before we continue, just to let you know I am a Ubisoft Partner creator, but this video isn't in any way sponsored or paid for. What I say here are my own thoughts and impressions about the game. I've got some points written down on what I want to discuss. I'm not exactly sure where to start, but I'll just begin and take it from there. As I mentioned, XDefiant is free to play and I see this as a big positive for the game. Majority of games released now come at a considerable cost to purchase and play. Here in Australia, some games cost over 100 Australian dollars. That's a fair amount to pay for a new game, and with so many games being released these days, it may not be affordable to buy them all. This leads to situations where not everyone will be able to buy the same game. But with XDefiant being free to play, there's no monetary barrier in acquiring the game. This means more people will play the game and therefore there will be a bigger pool of players around the world and in your local region. It will make it much easier to find other people to play with. XDefiant has no skill-based matchmaking in casual matches. Whatever your thoughts are on this, it has become a barrier in other games. With skill-based matchmaking, it can take some time for you to match with other players in the lobby even before a game begins, and this could be to the detriment of your ping. It might force you to join a server further away if there is no one nearby within your skill rating. But with skill-based matchmaking being non-existent in casual matches for XDefiant, this is not a problem, and it prioritizes matchmaking based on ping, connecting you to a lobby closest to your location. But what about gunplay? How do the weapons handle? Well, I'm really liking it. The action is quick and fast-paced with the gunplay feeling precise and satisfying. In fact, when the game was initially announced in July 2021, it was said that for the game to be a great shooter, the gunplay has to be top priority. And from what I played during the open session, I feel that to be the case. It has a similar feel to Call of Duty many years ago, such as Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. This isn't much of a surprise considering that Mark Rubin, the executive producer on XDefiant, was previously the executive producer on Call of Duty. The weapons are a delight to utilize, and with the right mix of attachments, they can feel even better. My favorite weapon is the AK-47, and on first use I wasn't really too excited about it. But after playing around with the attachments, where you can add up to 5 at a time, I was having a blast using it. It made me think back to the old Call of Duty, where the AK-47 was also my preferred weapon. In regards to weapon attachments, I appreciate the detailed stats showing how they individually and collectively affect the performance of a weapon. It breaks it down into 4 categories of firepower, mobility, accuracy, and ammunition. I cannot recall when I've seen a game do something like this. It makes it extremely handy when building your loadout for your liking, and also without having to refer to a third-party website for this information. It's all in the game and very easy to understand, and I think more first-person shooters need to go to this length for weapon attachments. The factions you play in XDefiant are taken from Ubisoft titles. My personal favorite is Echelon, from Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. They are the stealth class of the game where they can go invisible and flank enemies, but I didn't use them a lot in this open session. I had more fun with the Cleaners, from Tom Clancy's The Division, which you should be able to see some gameplay right now. They are the damage dealers in the game, where their abilities are based upon fire. All the factions complement the game well, each having something unique to offer. Some people have said that the Spider-Bot ability by DedSec was overused too much in the game, but in the games I played, I only came across the Spider-Bot a few times. I saw more people using the Libertad faction due to its healing abilities. But in any case, the different factions make the game more enjoyable as it enables different gameplay styles and tactics compared to the run-of-the-mill military shooter. The graphics in XDefiant are a nice touch. They do not go overboard with trying to make everything look photorealistic, and it isn't a strain on the computer or console to deliver consistent high frames and a smooth performance. In other games, in order to get the performance you desire, it may force you to lower the graphical quality, making it less pleasing to see on the screen. In XDefiant, the visuals are bright and crisp, making objects easy to identify, which is especially important in a fast-paced arena shooter. It also helps that enemies are easily seen with a name and health bar above their heads. It might sound simple, but being able to see objects clearly on the screen makes it a lot easier to play and enjoy. One thing that I really love about this game is the inclusion of the practice zone. It is a safe place where you can practice and learn about movement, abilities and ultras, and test out different weapon loadouts on targets. This is something I wish were included in more first-person shooters. Other games may have a shooting range, but it's rather basic and lacking in features, but here in XDefiant it is feature-rich. You can spend a lot of time here perfecting your skills before hitting up a live game against other players. Movement in the game feels nice to me, but I have seen other people saying otherwise. I can only talk about my experience and it felt fine. In all honesty, I wasn't going to talk about it, because I don't have much to say. But then I realized since there is not much to say doesn't necessarily mean I have anything negative to say about it, and as of now, I cannot fault it. In my time running around in multiplayer games and also the practice zone, I didn't have an issue with movement. Running, jumping, sliding, strafing, all function as expected to be, and there was nothing negative that I can pinpoint. I don't really have anything to complain about in this area. Onto something a bit technical, the netcode. To me, it feels like the netcode has improved since the closed beta, which made the game more enjoyable. While playing the Open Session event, my ping was around 60 to 70 milliseconds. I didn't seem to have any issues with hit registration or lag. In other games with around the same ping, I would notice the gameplay wasn't as smooth or responsive in comparison. Maybe the other games were so badly optimized that XDefiant just feels better regardless. In any case, it was refreshing to play a game where I felt that what I did on my end of the game was reflected accurately on the server. This next point might be controversial to say. I really enjoyed the Open Session predominantly because I was actually doing quite well in the games I played. I did have games where I did okay, but there were times I felt like I was performing exceptionally well. Now this could come down to pure luck, or tied to the fact there was no skill-based matchmaking, but the thing I'm going to put it down to is that aim assist in XDefiant is not as strong as it is in Call of Duty. It is well known that aim assist in that game is very strong, so much so that it's regarded to be a great advantage to play with a controller instead of a keyboard and mouse. In XDefiant, the aim assist is not as strong, so it makes the game more equal regardless of device input. There are various opinions on aim assist on the internet, but as a keyboard and mouse player, I'm happy with the direction the developers have taken with this. So after my recent experience playing XDefiant, I am excited for the release of this game, which will be sometime in the North American summer this year. There are so many positives with this game, even in its pre-release build. The game does remind me a lot of the old Call of Duty from many years ago, and maybe it's just nostalgia for me, but I have very fond memories of Call of Duty back then. I joke with my friends that for me to enjoy a first-person shooter, just give me a gun and point me in the direction to shoot. I feel like XDefiant does that for me, but not in so basic terms. It doesn't make things complicated with a lot of graphical clutter on the screen, or endless amounts of game settings to go through just to get good performance out of the game. And I don't have to wait a long time to join a server with players around my skill level. Everything just seems to work without much hassle, and that's how Call of Duty was for me many years ago. I had fond memories of playing that game back then. I'm looking forward to fond memories of XDefiant soon. Well, that was my thoughts and impressions of the game. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching everyone. If you're new, please subscribe and I'll catch you later. Bye bye.